Good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Hey, May, happy Sunday to you also. Come on in, folks. I'm good, May. Thank you. How are you? Yeah, I had an interesting day yesterday. I visited. Hey, Priscilla. Thank you very much. I had an interesting day yesterday. I visited with Jim and Maria. Jim has become a friend of mine. He's a subscriber to the channel. As a matter of fact, you'll see comments from James O'Connor. And so yesterday, I drove up from, now I live just south of Baltimore in a little town called Glen Burnie. So I drove from here to Philadelphia to visit with them. And Jim's a lot like me. We joke that we're twin sons from different mothers. And because he's an engineer, a Navy man, a guitar player, and also married to a Filipina. And so I went to visit them and kind of do an interview with him. That video will be posted on Wednesday, 2 p.m. Philippines time. Hey, Lucille, good to see you. So Jim and Maria, his wife, Maria's from Pampanga originally. They've been married for 38 years, so they live in Philadelphia now. And she's American. As a matter of fact, one of the things we talked about was because her kids are, Filipino American, but they're U.S. citizens, so she doesn't really want to leave, go back to the Philippines for retirement. So I can't say as I blame her. She doesn't want to leave her kids. Yeah, so it's a pretty cool video. It'll be out on Wednesday. You guys can check it out. So one of the other things I've talked to them about before, which I thought would be an interesting conversation for today, would be how many of you that are want or interested in marrying a foreigner or an American. I'm only familiar with Americans, but it could be Australian or whatever. And if you are you prepared for being away from home, moving to a different country and living there and learning the culture and all that kind of stuff? So I'm curious to see what your thoughts are. So let me know what you think. In the meantime, I'll pick up my guitar a little bit more while you're thinking of what to say. I haven't heard that song in a while. Yeah, Maria got really homesick for a while when they were first married. So I could see that. I can understand. I mean, the U.S., especially the East Coast here, is about 9,000 miles away from the Philippines. It's a really long distance. Now, today, in modern times, we're a lot closer because we can communicate with Facebook Messenger or Skype or WhatsApp or whatever. Back in the early 80s when Jim and Maria were married, they didn't have that kind of stuff. Yeah, you do. And you guys will get a kick out of watching the video on Wednesday. But yeah, and it's hard to judge the sincerity of a guy. You really, really need to know. I think some PNAs jump too quick and marry a girl and they don't really know them that well yet. So I think it makes sense to take your time and make sure you really know the person that you're getting in with. Hey, Priscilla, North Carolina. Yes, I like it. It's a very nice place. It's kind of similar to Maryland, a little bit warmer, which is in the wintertime anyway. But they have beaches on the Atlantic side all the way up to the mountains in the Allegheny Mountains. So a lot of nice things in North Carolina. Why, Priscilla? Are you chatting with a guy from North Carolina? Is that going to be your new home in North Carolina, or are you thinking about that? No? Hey, that is very, very true. And I just booked a flight. I'll be back in the Philippines in November, um, assuming something doesn't change with my work schedule and everything, which it will. It has a tendency to do that. But yeah, it's not cheap. It's not cheap at all. And that's a very good point. If a guy's going to, especially if he's coming just to meet you, if that's his only motivation, then that is a very big commitment, because he's going to spend a good deal of money. Generally speaking, it's about the cost of the airfare alone from the east coast of the United States, like where I am in Maryland, to Cebu in the Philippines, is about 1,000 US dollars. So that's 50,000 pesos. So it's not cheap at all. And so, yeah, I think the guy is making a bit of a commitment, just coming to see you. So, but the thing you want to make sure of is that his motivation is to come see you, not just to show up in the Philippines and try and date lots of other Pines. I know in my case, I went to specifically meet Vivian. We had been chatting online. I wanted to meet her. I didn't have any interest in any other Pines. I went just for Vivian. So you want to make sure that that's the correct motive. Priscilla, cool. So you're dating a guy or chatting with a guy from North Carolina, and you're interested in what it's like there. Well, yeah. I mean, May, you're saying that a guy might change his mind. Well, that's true. I mean, even in locally in the Philippines, I don't know what part you're from, if you're in Luzon or Cebu or whatever, but yeah, I mean, had I shown up in the Philippines when I met Vivian, and I really didn't feel anything for her, then I would have to be honest and just say, yeah, it's not going to work between us. But it's better to find that out ahead of time than to be married, move to the U.S., where you're pretty much by yourself, or you may have a few friends or some relatives here or whatever, but and then discover that you're not really in love with this guy. So it's way better to do it ahead of time. So, hey, Josie, happy Sunday to you as well. So I was mentioning I have a video coming out on Wednesday. I Yesterday I drove up to Philadelphia, which is the city where they authored the Constitution, no, not the Declaration of Independence of the United States, and it's about a 2-hour drive north of where I live, and but it ended up taking me 3.5 hours because I was driving through thunderous rain, and traffic was really slow, and it was a 3.5 hour trip to get up there. I made it back home in 2 hours, but getting up there was a real ordeal. But anyway, the reason I went was to visit my friend Jim O'Connor and his wife Maria, and I interviewed them on video, and that video will be out on Wednesday, about 2 p.m. Philippines time. So you guys can watch that. They've been married for 38 years, so they're a great couple. Filipina, Maria is a Filipina from Pampanga. So I've never been there, but I hope to visit Pampanga sometime. Hey, William. Sagad, huh? In southern Leyte. I'm not familiar with it, but generally speaking, Leyte is fairly safe. I mean, the only places that you really have to be careful are in northern Mindanao. Well, nor like in the areas where there's a lot of Muslim activity, there are also Muslim extremists. So those areas you kind of gotta, But I would suspect Leyte is probably pretty safe. Yeah, yeah. The high technology makes it easier for us to communicate. Hey, Ken, how are you? Good morning to you. Yeah, I mean, I had already, in the case of Vivian and me, um, we had already been communicating in, Skype. We use Skype a lot, and knew a lot about each other before I ever went over to meet her. But yeah, I mean, I had to meet her first before I found out whether or not I really liked her. I did. I mean, I knew that I liked her. But there's nothing. There's no substitute for meeting somebody in person. It really is necessary. So, and it was, of course, it could have been possible that, I didn't love her like I thought I did. Hey, darling. Good evening to you. Yeah, well, I mean, it's up to you what you decide to do. Usually, I don't know, man. Maybe I'm just an old romantic, but Vivian and I just kind of fell in love right away. I mean, it was just it had actually started online, but when we met and we spent couple of weeks together, within a few hours, I knew she was the one. So sometimes it'll happen that way, sometimes it doesn't. Ah, okay, William. You see Lucille's responding to you. Hey, Eden, how are you? Good to see you. She's from Tacloban in Leyte, and she says it's a safe place. Let's see. Hey, Lydia, how are you? Good to see you again. May's chimed in. Leyte is also a safe place. Hey, Raquel, good to see you. Still in Hong Kong. So our discussion today is what we started out discussing is Filipinas marrying a Westerner and then leaving her country and going. And Raquel, you could probably attest to this. You're going to experience some homesickness being away from home. Hey, Steve. Yeah, May, you really have to do. You really, yeah, you need to meet up in person. There's just no substitute for it. I mean, Skype and Viber and all that stuff are really good um, ways to communicate. You get to see the person, you get to talk to them, you get to get a feel for who that person is and what they're about. And, but you're just not going to know for sure until you meet in person. I mean, that because we're talking about, if we're talking about getting married, that's a really personal thing. So you need to meet in person. There's just no shortcuts around that. Shani, did I pronounce that properly? Is it Shani? Shani, subscriber from Taiwan. Thank you very much for subscribing. And yeah, it's morning here, 10:48 a.m. on Sunday. And Taiwan, are you on the same time as the Philippines, or are you an hour behind like Japan? Right. Eden, what time is it in Tokyo right now? Yeah, that's true, Ken. The internet helps with the homesickness, but still, um, being in Vivian's case, just being in another culture and far away from family and everything. Uh, yeah, it's a bit, it's a little bit of a substitute to have. I know we used Facebook Messenger a lot, and she would message with the family, but it's not completely the same. Hey, Marianne from Cebu, my favorite place. Yeah. Hey, darling, you're in Manila, huh? Raining nonstop. 11:49. Yeah. So Eden confirmed it's an hour later. It's only 10:49 um, in the Philippines. Okay, so Taiwan's the same as the Philippines. Actually, Taiwan, I may be there in Taipei sometime soon. I have a customer for my job that I need to go visit. You probably heard of Formosa Plastics Corporation, very big Taiwanese company. Yeah, that's right, Josie. I mean, you can meet and chat and do all that with online stuff, but there's just really no substitute for meeting in person. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Eden, yeah, it's the evening there. Yeah, it's we're on opposite sides of the planet. I'm over here in Maryland, and you guys are on the other side. Yeah, I don't know, Ken. I mean, I'm sure it would help some. Um, uh, I would have certainly traveled back to the Philippines with Vivian from time to time to visit the family. There's no doubt about that. But um, I'm not, in the beginning, I think the the Pine is making a transition into a new culture, and that's just something um, that she needs to get used to, and it's going to take a little bit of time for it to happen. Um, so, yeah, she can still communicate with family and everything. Modern technology makes that easy to do, but uh, still, she's going to be surrounded by Americans for the most part, and she's got to get used to that. Yeah, that's true. That's true, May. It's a new journey in life, and and it depends. I think also from person to person. Some people are more like me. I've always been one to just go. I enjoy going to different places and seeing different things. I've pretty much been around the world. I mean, they're between the Navy and traveling for business, and so I've visited many different countries and many different cultures. And for me, it's not a big deal. I don't really get homesick, but I can certainly understand why a lot of people do. Hey, Kai, good to hear from you. Uh, yeah, Ken, that's something that Jim mentioned was they got involved in Filipino associations and stuff like that. Also at church, like I when Vivian was here, I used to take her to St. Jude's Shrine in Baltimore a lot. because there were a lot of Filipinos there, and she got to chat with other Filipinos. Yeah, sometimes and sometimes not, babe. Usually one person has got to go to the other country. um, I did make many trips to the Philippines before Vivian came over to the U.S., and so her family became my family, and they still are. As a matter of fact, I'm going back to visit them in November. Besides business, the nice thing about traveling for business is that somebody else pays for the airfare. A customer usually pays. So if I can get a customer to pay for me to travel over, I'll do that. But that's not always the case. Sometimes I got to take it out of my pocket. Eden, how was it for you? Eden was a Filipina who was married to a Japanese man and has lived in Tokyo for a very long time. How was it for you? Did you have a lot of homesickness at first when you first got married and moved to Tokyo? So another question I have for you guys, especially for the Filipinos, what's the attraction of marrying a foreigner and moving um, away from the Philippines? What are you expecting when you do that? I mean, is it to have a better life, to move to a richer country where it's life is a little easier? I'm just curious as to what the thinking is. Um, so you meet a guy and you fall in love. So obviously, the first part of the equation is that you're in love with a guy. But the moving to another country, what what is it about that entices you? I mean, some of you, I'm sure, are just romantics like I am, and it's just cool to be in a different place. So I would just I would just as soon move to another country and hang out there. Hey, Florence, ciao. And yeah, so as a matter of fact, Florence is from Italy. Where in Italy are you, Florence? I'm I've been to Italy many times in the Navy back in the day. I used to run in and out of Italy. We had a base there. But yeah, so what's the attraction? Why would you be interested in I mean, I understand, you fall in love with a guy and you're going to get married, but what's the attraction to of moving to another country? All right, I'll pick on my guitar a little bit while you think of your answers. I'm alive. Yeah, so I was telling everybody about I have a new video coming out on Wednesday. Okay, Raquel, I see. Well, I guess, Raquel, you're an OFW, so you kind of already have a little bit of experience with living in a different culture. So it may not be as hard for you as say, especially, a girl from the province or something like that that meets an American or Westerner, falls in love, and moves to another country. Um, cool. Oh, so you've worked for all those, a Arabic, a Chinese, and a Western family? Oh, okay. You also worked in Saudi Arabia. I follow you. Okay. Ah, cool. Cool, Lawrence. So you have some Filipina blood flowing in you. Yeah, I kind of figured it would be. Eden saying that she had a real hard time with homesickness too. Yeah, and so I think some of that depends on, like I said, maybe for OFWs it might not be as bad, but for somebody that's not been ever out of the Philippines, I'm sure she's going to be homesick a lot. Yeah, Shani, I think you're right. I mean, love is one of those things that just kind of happens. I mean, I had no clue. I tell you the truth. When I first met Vivian, I had no idea what I was looking for or from any particular place. I had no idea. I just happened to meet her. And one thing led to another, and I fell in love with her, and we got married. And that's just the way it happened. So, um, yeah, I think maybe sometimes some people maybe try too hard. Um, and so the motivation's not right. The motive is not right, and the motive should be, just meet people, have fun, and the right person. God will put the right person with you at some point, as long as your heart is genuine and you stay honest. And eventually, that person will come. So I agree with you there. Um, like I said, I hadn't when I met Vivian, I had no idea. As a matter of fact, if you had asked me before I met Vivian to find Cebu on a map, I probably couldn't have. I had no idea where Cebu was. It wasn't until after I met her that I learned all that stuff. And um, yeah, I mean, I knew where Manila was. I could have found Manila on a map, but not Cebu. I had no idea about it. Turns out it's the second biggest city in the Philippines and a pretty major port and all kinds of stuff. I had no clue that it was even there. So As a matter of fact, there's another one, Tianjin in China. It's not far from Beijing, but I had no idea it was there until I um, actually did a project for a company in Tianjin. That's when I learned about it. Yeah, that's you're absolutely right, Steve. God will provide it for you. Um, I think one of the things one of the issues is we tend to a lot of us, including me, sometimes tend to think that things coming from outside are going to make me happy, when really the happiness needs to come from my heart first. And then if I can be happy with myself, then I can be happy with someone else. And so, um, yeah, it needs to come first from your heart. And like I said, when I met Vivian, I had no idea who or what I was looking for. I really, that's the God's honest truth. I had no idea. I just found her, and God just put us together. Yeah, Eden, I agree with you. Destiny is what it is. Yeah, Josie, you're right. I mean, sometimes um, the ulterior motive is for financial reasons. I mean, in the Philippines, there's a lot of poverty. I mean, it's a poor place. So yeah, that can be some of the motivation is to get out of this. Marry a Western guy and move to a rich country, and uh, life's going to be a bed of roses, but it doesn't work out that way, right? So you got to be true to yourself first, I think, and that happiness needs to come from inside, and then you can be happy with the person that you meet that God sends to you. Thank you, Raquel. That's right, Shani. Yeah, I mean, you're about as happy as you're happy. Somebody else cannot make you happy. You have to have it inside first. Now, you can express it and you can share your happiness and share your love with someone else, but you need to have it inside first. I really think that's important. Um, and I mean, and marriage is not all a bed of roses either. I mean, there's going to be times when you and your partner are not going to agree, and um, there's going to be conflict and disagreements and stuff like that. But if you really love each other, then you'll work through that and for the good of the marriage. So, but nowadays, far too many people, when the or get divorced. I mean, it just happens. I mean, I know I was divorced myself before I met Ivy, and you know, life happened. These things happen, but I think people call it quits too soon. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, we got to keep those hearts pure. But yeah, so to the guys out there, same thing. You want to go, you got to meet this lady that you're you're chatting with, regardless of how strong your feelings are for her. I mean, I can tell you that the truth is, I have very strong feelings for Vivian just from chatting on Skype. But there was still no substitute for me going to Cebu in person, meeting her and spending time with her. And that's when I found out, you know. You're welcome, Raquel. Let's see, Ken. Yeah, very true, Ken. As a matter of fact, you got Raquel and some other OFWs here. I mean, they're doing the same thing. These girls go, they leave the Philippines and they work, and I bet you all of them are sending money home to their family. You know, I almost guarantee it. They're not socking away all their money and saving it. They're sending it home and taking care of their families. And you know, I can't remember what the statistics are, but it's a um, very big portion of the gross domestic product of the Philippines is OFW remittances coming back. You know. Yeah. Yeah, Josie. I mean, you know, God wants us to take the initiative and do things, um, but He will guide us where we need to be. And if you have it in your heart, then you'll end up in the right place. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Cool. The realist, good, cool, man. August 29. That's cool. Hey, Shani, you're welcome. Thank you very much. Yeah, I mean, like Raquel just said, Ken, you know, she has a poor, her family's poor, and she's sending money to help everybody. I mean, so these girls do make huge sacrifices to take care of their family. Yep, that's right. So, like, and I know I've told you guys before, but I still take care of my family, my Filipino family, and my stepchildren, and so um, you know, I take care of them. Yeah, Steve. You know, I can't understate the importance of meeting in person. Yeah, realist man. Yeah, I mean, enjoy it, man. Lydia, you're absolutely correct. Respect is very important. Yes, May. Yeah, no, it's not a joke at all. As a matter of fact, I have several friends that are OFWs, and I think very, very highly of them. Uh, yeah, 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 Florence. Very true. I was very happily married with Vivian until she passed away. I still love her. Um, I will probably never stop. You know, she was a magnificent woman, and there are many, and part of it is the culture of the Pine. You know, you're welcome, May. Yeah, so the OFWs are just amazing, amazing. I actually have some OFWs in my family. Niece and a nephew. Actually, a couple of them. Also, a lot of my family, and I think it. I'm talking about my Filipino family here, are mariners, like myself, and so they they're kind of like pseudo OFWs. One is the captain, ship's captain, and the ship pulls into Cebu, and he gets on, and he's gone for 6 months, carrying cargo containers around the world. And then they come back, several of them actually, and so they're gone and away from their families for long periods of time. But they earn good money and they take care of their families. Yeah, Ken, that's true. The OFWs, the remittances from OFWs, I wish I had those numbers at my disposal, but it's super significant. It's really big. Well, realist, thank you for your service. I'm a Navy vet myself. And like I said, guys, make sure you check out the video coming out on Wednesday. Um, a good friend of mine, a subscriber to the channel, Jim O'Connor, is also a former Navy man. And matter of fact, we joked that we're twin sons from different mothers because we're both musicians, we're both engineers, we're both former Navy men, and we both married Filipinas. And so I went up to interview them, and that video will be out on Wednesday. Yes, thank you. Yeah, thank you, May. Yeah, thank you, realist. Good buddy of mine, Bruce, is a Army vet. As a matter of fact, if you saw the videos of us fishing from Siargao, that's Bruce. He's an Army vet too. I think yeah, Bruce Army vet. So the only time we're at odds with each other is when the Army Navy game is playing on TV, because I'm cheering for Navy. Oh, that's sweet of you, May. Yeah. Yeah, man. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. All right, guys. Well, it's coming up on Stratocat. Santa Fe. What's the name of that island? Is that the little island just north of Cebu? That town? That's Santa Fe. There's so many Santa Fe's. I can't figure out which one. Or there's also one I think that is. Okay. So you're on the island. There's another one that's like south of Naga somewhere. There's not the Naga that's over in Samar, but the one in Cebu, on Cebu Island. Yeah. Okay, guys. Well, thanks for a really great conversation today. I appreciate it. Yeah, not sure when I'm going to be to Hong Kong next, Raquel, but you'll certainly know because I'll keep you guys posted. Hey, gentlemen, thanks for joining us. Sorry, we're just about to wrap up, but you can back and watch it again. No, I don't think I'll be making it to Dumageddon this trip, Stratocat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks, Ken. Hey, Josie, thank you. Yeah, no, I won't be making it to Dumageddon. I've got a lot of stuff I got to do this trip. Um, Thank you, Eden. Enjoyed. You guys should check out Eden's channel too. I really enjoyed watching her videos. She was just back in the Philippines, um, looking after some property that she owns there on Mindoro, I think, right? Mindoro. Anyway, I'll see you later, guys. Have a good day. Bye.